Yes, you
Shall
can
we
go ahead.
start?
Yes.
Good evening. Hare Krishna. Warm welcome to all of you. Namaskar. We start chapter 1. We continue from where we left off in the last week, where Shamchandra Prabhu presented up to verse 11. Before I start, I offer my obeisances to my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and my Shiksha Guru, Gaur Vilas Prabhuji. With obeisances, let us start with the proceedings for the day. You have seen this slide last time. So the first chapter is called Sainya Niriksha Yoga and Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So this chapter has two parts, and this is the names of that. We will see this in detail going forward. This chapter also has a very nice acronym. It's called DOUBT, where D stands for the two key players, Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. Up to 11th verse, what we have covered, we had we heard these two gentlemen speaking. O stands for ominous. That is what we are going to see today. U is uncertainty, that we'll see in the coming classes, bewilderment, and turning point. That's the most interesting part of chapter 1, turning point. With this brief touch up, okay, and Prabhuji says, brief to 27, it is Tiny Niriksha Yoga, observing the army, and from 28 to 46, it is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. So this gives you an understanding of how the chapter is placed. This is the sections we have completed. The first, let me go to the pointer. We have completed this part. We are going to start 1.12 to 1.2, and this will be followed up in the next class. A brief recap of what we studied, left off in the last class. We were on verse 11. Bhima and Arjuna were most formidable. So they are the reference point for Duryodhana. What did Duryodhana say? He says, Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yata bhagam avastitaha bhishmam eva abhirakshantu bhavanta sarva eva hi. What's the translation? He says, all of you must give full support to stand for the Bhishma. As you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. He wanted to praise Bhishma. And Bhishma is first of all, let's look at what Duryodhana has uh, thought playing in his mind. First is, he was sure that both Bhishma Pitamaha and Dronacharya were lenient towards Pandavas. But all the game plan that he used in terms of talking to Drona, reminding him of Drupada, praising Bhishma in this verse was to ensure that they support him fully during the war. And what gave him confidence was Bhishma and Drona, even though they are on the side of Dharma, did not really stand up when Draupadi was being insulted. They, in fact, kept quiet, which was a kind of supporting Duryodhana in his uh, not so pious deeds. So that gave him the confidence in his mind that the way that I have played this game in terms of praising Drona and Bhishma, they should be able to support me in full. Let's move to this slide. Now, we have gone through 11 verses. What is the takeaway for us? Is it just about Duryodhana praising, playing political games? If I were to summarize the 11 verses and say that these are the three key takeaways, they would be this. We should not be in this mindset that Duryodhana showed, bragging about his army. Yes, his army was superior to Pandavas, so he started by bragging about his strength. Better to avoid. Doubting the loyal ones. He spoke to Drona almost in a way trying to say that, your enemy is in front of you, be careful. That is not the way you talk to elders and you are own team members. So we should be very clear as to when we speak, address the audience, what would be the way the audience takes the message. Whatever Duryodhana spoke may be very appropriate according to him, but maybe it was not so appropriate to the listeners like Dronacharya and Bhishma. Life lesson. Self glorification is a symptom of insecurity. So don't try to beat your own drum. That's the key takeaway. Second life lesson, in real life, don't doubt. If you doubt, you lose people because you hurt. They are in love with you. They are your near and dear ones. So we should not try to doubt them. That is the key takeaways of what we studied in the last 11 verses. Now, I also had said I am a great fan of the conch blowing that Shamchandra Prabhu started last time. And this chapter going forward has a lot of conch blowing by Bhishma and the Pandavas. So to keep the tradition alive, I will also start by blowing the conch now. Here we go. I hope I'm able to blow it loudly.
Oh, we are not able to hear. Not able to hear.
Not able to hear.
Yeah, the
One second.
conch blowing was not heard.
Prabhuji, then can we go to that controls and get that sound sharing?
Which controls?
You get that no, where it shows the three dots.
No, I think what has happened is since you have got a ear phone also, no?
Huh,
So you blew the conch. I
huh.
think the direct one is disabled. It's going through your earphone only. That's the reason. If you
No,
just
no,
remove
no,
the
no.
no, you do this way. If you want, just remove that for a moment. Blow the conch. Remove the from the your laptop. The wire
We'll do
also.
that.
Yeah. And now you blow the conch. Let's see whether we can hear.
Okay.
Because the mic must
Let me
have
try.
got. Yeah.
Okay.
No, no, not able to hear.
Can you hear?
Not, no, not able to hear at all.
Prabhuji, then it is the controls. We have to, uh,
But there is nothing to be done on the Zoom. I believe it's probably on your laptop.
no, Prabhuji, it is in the Zoom. There is
But
a thing which
last time when
shows,
I blew, Prabhu, last time when I
uh,
blew, I didn't make any changes to the settings. No.
no, I am fully aware, Prabhuji. There is a setting which says, enable sound for video,
Yeah. See, there is one participant who has mentioned you have to disable the earphone and put it on the speaker mode.
which I have done. Can you, when you see, it's actually where the slide is now,
Mhm.
it comes there only.
Which
You can hear me, but
yeah, we can hear you talk, but the conch blowing did not come.
that is strange. I don't know why I am not able to get that three buttons.
Okay, maybe I'll blow it from here for you. Is it okay?
Okay, okay. Go ahead.
The constant. Just 1 second.
Hmm. We can hear you, Prabhuji.
Is it audible?
Yeah.
So I have not made any changes to setting, no?
Then why I'm not able to?
My conch sound is audible to hear.
Okay, Prabhu, you can proceed. No problem. It's okay.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. Let's leave it at that then.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what are we going to cover today? We are going to cover from verse 11 to verse 12 to 20. So, verse 12, as you see on the screen, shows Kaurava commander Bhishma blowing his conch shell. That's declaring the start of the war. Then we have Kaurava warriors blowing their conch shells. Then we have Arjuna and Krishna coming on their grand chariot and blowing their conches. And almost 18 Pandavas are mentioned by name between verses 16 to 18. They blow their conch shells. There is a tumultuous roar conveying the Pandavas' might, and this leaves the Kauravas unnerved. This is the 19th verse. And the 20th verse, Arjuna observes the armies. So, with this, we move to the session today, Victory Signs of Pandavas. So, we should carefully listen to the talk so that you can discern the signs of victory of Pandavas. It is not that they are very elaborately mentioned, but they are the meaning is hidden behind each word that Sanjaya describes to Dhritarashtra. Let's see the first verse today. Let's read the verse. Tasya sanjanayan harsham kuruvrudha pitamaha simmanadam vinodyochaihi sankam dadmau pratapavan. What's the translation? Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. Now, from the translation, it very clearly looks like it's a very simple verse. Bhishma blows the conch shell and he's declaring the war over. But there are nuances, hidden meanings, hidden lessons that we can discuss. First is Bhishma is also a great devotee, and he wanted to start the war and also observe how Krishna would save his devotees. Because it was very clear in his mind that one cannot win against Krishna. But he was a great fighter. So he had to do his job. And he said, "Oh, Duryodhana, you have spoken enough. Now let me blow the conch shell and declare the war open." Here, I have highlighted Kuru Vruddha Pitamaha. So what is Vruddha? Vruddha means he is old. It conveys wisdom, experienced, and he is seasoned in warfare. Pratapavan, the last word of the verse. It describes Bhishma as heroic, highlighting his valor and reputation. He was such an important warrior in the Mahabharata that he fought with Lord Parshurama for almost 27 days. And he was about to win the war and even kill Parshurama. But then there was an Akashvani which said, "Oh Bhishma, please be aware, Parshurama is a Brahmin and you cannot kill a Brahmin." And that's when Bhishma gave up and accepted defeat. So the valor and the heroism of Bhishma is well evident, well known, well established. But still, he knew that in front of Krishna, he stood very little chance. And Krishna is also playing an important message in this verse. He allowed Bhishma to declare the war open, and he also said, however great you could be as a warrior, whatever may be your skills, experience, you cannot win against Dharma. If you decide to support Adharma, then victory will not be yours. So these are the various messages that we can see in this verse. Let's go to the next verse. Let me read the verse. Katashankascha bheryascha panavanaka gomukaha sahasaiva abhihanyanta sasaptastumulo bhavat. What's the translation? After that, the conches, drums, bugles sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. You could see the various instruments that we use: drums, bugles, trumpets, horns. In this verse, there is another interesting thing to understand. In the time of Mahabharata, war was not just about winning and losing. War was also a celebratory event. And this is not surprising because if you see any grand sporting event where two teams or many teams compete to decide one winner, there is also a celebratory start for an event. It could be World Cup, it could be football, it could be cricket, it could be Indian Premier League, what have you. You have a grand opening ceremony, you have musicians, actors, and what have you, and it is an evening of pomp and glory. So, same thing as a culture prevailed in those days too. So, the conch blowing was kind of a message that this is an auspicious event, and I am announcing the auspicious event arrival, and from now on, the battle starts. That's the message which is coming through in this verse. And Bhishma, being the Pitama, was the most senior of amongst both the armies, and he did the honors by blowing the conch shell. So this is so. What is the summary of this slide? Rituals of war express and stimulate the martial spirit. And those days, people were not on the battlefield very afraid. They approached it very philosophically. They said, it's a job to do. I have decided to be on the part of Kauravas or Pandavas, as maybe, and then I am here to give my best. And I am aware that my best may not be good enough and I may die. And if I die, I am a martyr. And what a martyr gets, anyone who dies on the battlefield, he goes to heaven, Swarga. So, in a way, the whole atmosphere was not one of fear and anxiety. That was there, but that was at the back of the minds. And the blowing of the conch shells created that tumultuous sound, celebratory movement where all the people felt inspired. Let us go and give our best. This we move to the next verse of the day. Very important verse. Tata shvetair ayar yukte mahati syandane stitau madhava pandavaschaiva divyo shankau pradatmatuhu. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot, drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. This is the most important verse because Krishna and Arjuna make their entry. Again, if you read the verse, it looks simple. Yes, Arjuna and Krishna arrived on the battlefield and they sounded their conch shells. But if you go into the meaning behind, every word has a story to tell, has a lesson to give. Let's look at that in detail. So, it is the entry of Krishna, who is undoubtedly the hero of Gita. He is the supreme Lord himself. And he enters the scene quietly as a charioteer. And he is not entering the battlefield as a charioteer when Arjuna is in distress. Arjuna is level-headed, Arjuna is balanced, Arjuna is looking inspired, all ready to fight. So you see how the scenario starts. Everything is normal, everything is peaceful. This is the first level of understanding. Second, the chariot is described, saying that it's a magnificent chariot. And we also see, unlike in Bollywood, Hollywood, Collywood, the hero is not making a grand entry. He is making a very, very subtle, silent entry. What does this show? It shows Krishna doesn't need position. He may not wield weapons. He may be a charioteer. He may be a chauffeur. But what is important is he is Krishna and he is the charioteer of Arjuna. And what does it show? He does this out of love. So Krishna, from his entry seen onwards, clearly displays to us the level of compassion he has for his devotee and his friend Arjuna. That's the second learning. Next is, let us look at. Now, Gita is not just a book of philosophy. Yes, there's a lot of philosophy as we go ahead, but this is also exchange of thoughts between divinity and humanity. Divinity represented by Krishna and humanity represented by Arjuna, and all of us in the universe who listen, read, and understand each other. So, Tata Shveta Hayar Yutte. Krishna and Arjuna, situated on a chariot drawn by white horses, enter the battlefield. Mahati Syandane Stita refers to their magnificent chariot again, highlighting its grandeur. Mahati. Madhava Pandavas Chaiva indicates the presence of both Madhava and Pandava. Now, there is yet another hidden lesson here. Who is describing this verse? It is Sanjaya. And who is Sanjaya? Sanjaya is a great devotee. And you see, a devotee need not be told. There was the same conversation, same description of the army by Duryodhana, but he never even mentioned Krishna for a moment. But look at Sanjaya. What a contrast between two humans. Sanjaya starts this verse, describes the entry of Krishna, and says, Madhava Pandavas Chaiva. He could have said, Pandava Madhavas Chaiva. Nobody would have stopped him. And he is technically correct, because both Arjuna and Krishna were on the chariot. But a hardcore devotee need not be told. Unconsciously, he will always take the Lord's name first. That is what we get to see in this. Madhava Pandavas Chaiva. Divyo Shanko Pradatmatuhu signifies the divine conscience they glow. Divya emphasizes divine. As I mentioned, this is the conversation between divinity and humanity. So this is the grand entry of Krishna, who is the hidden hero, and Arjuna, the main hero on the battlefield. This is the most important verse from that perspective. Let's go to the next verse. Panchajanyam Hrushikesho Devadattam Dhananjaya Poundram Dadmau Mahashankam Bhimakarma Vrukodaraha. Let's look at another important verse. Now, what does the translation say? Lord Krishna blew his conch shell, called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his. Devadatta. And Bhima, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Kaurava. Yet another most important verse, because now the focus is moving from Duryodhana to Pandavas and more so Krishna and Arjuna. So we are moving from discussion stage to action stage. Now here, let me go to the first part of the message in the translation as we saw. So there are three names mentioned. Krishna blows his conch shell, Panchajanya. Arjuna blows his conch shell, Devadatta. Bhima blows his conch shell, Kaurava. Request is, please look at these slides carefully, because each of this has a linkage to the forward verses. And none of the other warriors, their conch shells are mentioned by name. It's only the Pandavas whose conch shells are mentioned by name in chapter 1. Now, we see this verse has a couple of important names. Krishna is called Hrishikesha. Why? Because he is the owner of all senses. Then you see Arjuna. Arjuna is referred to as Dhananjaya. We will see why going forward. What does Dhananjaya stand for? It stands for one who possesses, obtains, or gains wealth. And he did that in Mahabharata. We will see that. And Bhima is known as Vrukodaraha. Mahashankam. So Bhima stands for strength. He is capable of doing extraordinary tasks. And that's the reason why he was a voracious eater. And he is called Vrukodara, and his conch shell is described as Mahashankam. It shows the special size of the conch shell. The beauty of Gita is not just reading the verse translation, understanding the verse. It is the interconnection of stories. Every word, every verse, every line perhaps has a story attached to it and a great learning, great lessons behind it. So, of course, I can't spend too much of time going through all the stories, even though I'm a great fan of the stories and I love telling stories. But I can't resist myself in sharing one or two. One would be Panchajanyashan. Why is conch shell of Krishna known as Panchajanya? Now, let's go back to understand how the spiritual world works. Krishna comes from Golokadhama. In the Golokadhama, in the spiritual world, there is no inanimate object. Even a conch shell is a live person. So Panchajanya was a person who did the job of a conch shell. So he was very close to Krishna, and you know the affection he had for Panchajanya because he used to blow him on all important occasions. Now, once it so happened that Panchajanya became proud. He felt, well, I am so fortunate that I am the only one of amongst any who can be so close to the Lord. He has to put me to his lips if he has to blow me. Wow, I am great. And whenever a person becomes proud, that's the day when his downfall starts. And he also was almost about to say, oh, Goddess Lakshmi, you are also only at the feet of the Lord. You can't come to the lips of the Lord. That was the kind of pride that he was uh, behaving or he was having with him. Then the law of nature takes over. Krishna had says, okay, if you are proud, this is a demonic tendency, the asura tendency. We have to correct this. I don't want you to be proud. So the Leela starts. What happened? Goddess Lakshmi came to know of this. She got upset. She said, oh, oh, Panchajanya, if you are going to feel proud about it, I don't like it. I'll curse you. And she cursed him to become Panchajanya Asura. So now, from being the conch shell of Krishna, where does Panchajanya reach? He reaches the ocean depths, and because of the curse, and he was born as an Asura. Now, in Mahabharata, when Krishna went to his Gurukula, which is Sandipani Muni's ashrama, which if you have seen, it's near Ujjain, and they went through their education process. They completed it successfully. And then Sandipani Muni asked Krishna for a Guru Dakshina because that was the norm. If you study in a Gurukula, you must give your Guru a Guru Dakshina. And Sandipani Muni was also a very, very famous saint. He knew he had a disciple who was extraordinary. He was the supreme personality of Godhead himself. So he says, I'm not going to ask him for a Guru Dakshina, which he could easily fulfill. I will ask something from him, which is extremely near and dear to me. And for him, it would not be difficult to fulfill. It was so tragic that he had a son who passed away, uh, and he was, as a grieving father, he felt that, oh, I had a son and he is no more. And that's the time when the Guru Dakshina time had come up. So he asked Krishna, oh, Krishna, can you please help me to get my son back? Imagine it was against karma. No one in the world can come back into this world back after death. But then when Guru asks the disciple, Krishna said, yes, whatever you ask, I will fulfill. And Guru knew this very well. Then Krishna quickly does his homework. What happened to your son? Why did he pass away? Then he realized that he drowned in the ocean and he was killed and devoured by none other than Panchajanya, who was his own conscience. So then Krishna dives into the ocean. Uh, you can say he kills him, but he liberates him and establishes him back to his position as Panchajanya, the conscience. So this is the interesting story of Panchajanya conscience. Next, we also saw Arjuna is known as Dhananjaya, one who obtains wealth. Why is Arjuna known as Dhananjaya? Why is he famous as Dhananjaya? So, at the end of the war, uh, the Hastinapur kingdom was in ruins. There was misery all around. whatever little money was left in the treasury was required to rebuild the infrastructure, look after the wounded women, children, and it was not easy. And Dharmaraya also, Yudhishthira, also was a very pious person, and he says, "I want to perform Ashwamedha Yaga or Yajna." But then Ashwamedha Yajna doesn't come cheap. You need a lot of resources. And he realized my treasury has no money left. And whatever little money is there, I would rather use it for the socio and economic development of my citizens and not spend it on Yajna. Then every problem has a solution if you think through. So then he said, Arjuna, can you help me? Arjuna, yes, as a dutiful brother said, yes, I will. And what did he do? He realized that there was this goes back some time back where there was a king by name Marut who was a great devotee of Shiva. He prayed to him, severe penance, and Shiva was happy and he said, "Dear disciple, ask me what for whatever boon you want." So King Marut says, "I want a mountain of gold. Give me wealth beyond my imagination." So Lord Shiva says, "Tatastu, you have it." So the King Marut becomes very rich, and then to celebrate, he creates a grand. He wants to. He celebrates by a great grand sacrifice. He invites all the great people across the world, and he treats them lavishly. Imagine today we eat our temple feast prasadam in either a banana leaf or a disposable plate. Imagine those days, King Marut used to give golden plates, golden tumblers, golden cups, and said, "You please take them with you. I have so much of gold that I am magnanimous." So that was the level of wealth of King Maru. Even after giving away so much gold lavishly to all the visitors, he had still huge amounts of gold left. And Yudhishthira tells Arjuna, "Oh Arjuna, can you please help me get this wealth so that I can perform my Ashwamedha Yajna?" So Arjuna sets out, he's a dutiful brother, goes and finds the wealth, and from that day, he becomes famous as Dhananjaya, and then that wealth helped Yudhishthira Maharaj to perform his yajna very, very successfully. So this is the story of Panchajanya and Dhananjaya, and as I said, you can go on and on. Every verse has so many stories linked to them. Let's move to the next verse, another important verse. अनंत विजयम राजा कुंती पुत्रो युधिष्ठिरः नकुल सहदेवश्च सुघोष मणिपुष्पकौ. So what is the translation? It is describing Yudhishthira Maharaj blowing his conch shell, Anant Vijaya, Nakula blowing his conch shell, Sughosha and Sahadeva blowing his conch shell, Manipushpaka. So from a translation perspective, very simple. But then, if you go deep into it, we can find nuggets of wisdom. Now, what does the name Yudhishthira stand for? Yudhi means battle. We call it Yuddha. And Sthira means one who is strong and steadfast. So, the Duryodhana in the first 11 verses describes so many great warriors. He forgot two important people. One is Krishna, and second is Yudhishthira. Because Duryodhana came from the mindset that only strong will win the battle for him. And according to him, Krishna was a non-participant and Yudhishthira was a Dharma. He was also known as Dharmaraj, man of virtues. So he didn't really play an important part in Duryodhana's mind. But what is important is Yudhishthira is the fulcrum of Pandavas. He may not be the strongest, he is not the best archer, but the whole Pandava family looked upon him with great respect because he was the eldest amongst them and he was also the wisest amongst them. So this is the importance of the description in this verse of Yudhishthira. And his conch shell was named Ananta Vijaya, which is also another name of Krishna. Let's move to the next verse. काश्यश्च परमेशीसः शिखण्डी च महारथः दृष्टद्युम्नो विराटश्च सात्यकीश्च परिजितः. So as I said, 15, 16, 17, 18. We have series of Pandavas blowing their conches, and if you count, there are 18 of them totally. So the 17th verse continues. Let's look at the translation. King of Kashi, Kashyascha, Parmeshishaha, Shikandi, Shikandiji Maharata, Drushtadjumya, Viratascha, Virata is king of Virata, Satyaki also blew their conches. Very easy verse. And I'm not going to spend any time on this. Let's move to the next verse. Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvasa Prithvipate Saubadrascha Mahabahu Sankandadmahu Pratak Pratak. Important verse. Drupada, translation, sons of Draupadi and the others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conches. Now, in this verse, it is pretty straightforward, except that I have given you in the descriptor here, Drupada, yes, easy to understand. Now, sons of Draupadi, Draupadi had 5 sons. So, we have to understand that the reference is to 5 sons of Draupadi. And then it also says, Saubhadrascha Mahabahu. Now, Saubhadra, who is Saubhadra? She is the mother of Abhimanyu, the great Abhimanyu who fought the Chakravyuha war. So, Abhimanyu, mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conches. This gives you the complete understanding of this verse. Next, we go to the next verse. Sagoshu Dasta Rastranam Rudayani Vyadarayat Nabhascha Prithvim Chaiva Tumulo Abhyanunadayan. Let's look at the translation. The blowing of these different conches became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. Look at the translation. So blowing of conches is an event. Yes, in response to what Bhishma did, Pandavas are blowing their conches. But just look at the effect. Why is this called signs of victory of the Pandavas? First, it was Krishna who starts by giving the response to Bhishma by blowing his conch, followed by all the Pandava brothers. And we have seen 18 Pandavas were described who have blown their conches. Second point is Krishna, wherever Lord Krishna is, the goddess of Lakshmi follows. So wherever goddess of Lakshmi is, fortune and victory follows. So these are the signs. We will see one or two more going forward, which clearly establish that even though Duryodhana was feeling that he had a larger army size, he had Bhishma and Drona on his side, he was overlooking the most important fact that Krishna was on the side of Pandavas. And Krishna is the supreme personality of God. And wherever the Lord is, Lakshmi is with him. And wherever Lakshmi is present, then you know she is the goddess of fortune and goddess of victory. So these are the signs which tell us, even though they are not explicitly explained, that there are clear telltale signs of victory of the Pandavas. Now, let us look at line by line. Then you understand, yes, how Sanjaya is describing the war scene. Hrudayani Vadyadarayat. What does it mean? It says it shattered the hearts of Kauravas. Nabha cha prithvim chaiva. Nabha cha means up to the sky. The tumultuous roar of the instruments rose up to the sky. Prithvim chaiva, down to the earth, spreading across the entire Kurukshetra battlefield. Tumula abhyanunadayan. The sound was tumultuous. Tumulo was also used in verse 13, where we have seen Sahasaiva Abhya Anyanta Sasabdas Tumulo Bhava. Tumula is a cognate of the word tumultuous in English. So, in the mental battle, before the physical battle starts, Pandavas had clearly come out as winners. Because nowhere did Sanjaya find Pandavas to be afraid. Whereas he found there is an element of fear amongst the Kauravas. That is why he says, Hudayani Vyadraya. It shattered the hearts of Kauravas. Let's so there is no heartbreaking on the side of the Pandavas. There can be no heartbreaking because you have Krishna on their side. Coming to the last verse of the day. Ata vyavasthitan društva dhartarashtraन् kapidvajah pravritte shastra sampate dhanurudyamya pandavah Hushikesham tada vakyam idam aha mahipate. Let's look at the translation. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot, bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, Kapidvajaha, very important word, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. Again, a very important verse, which is now leading to the next portion of chapter 1. And there are some very important stories and very important telltale signs of Pandava's victory in this verse. And what is that first? Sorry, my is running low. Okay. Let the charge, yeah. So I have brought up the flag, which is the famous Kapidvajaha on the chariot of Arjuna. Atha Vyavasthitan Društva. What does this say? So we have seen in the first earlier 11 verses, it was Duryodhana who was surveying the army. He was comparing the strengths, trying to motivate people. So that was the part of the conversation. Now, the scene shifts. It is Arjuna who is observing the Kauravas' military formation. Kapidvajaha. Arjuna has a flag with a symbol of the monkey. Now, this is an important telltale sign of Pandava's victory. That is why this section is known as Signs of Pandava's Victory. What is the connection of monkey and why is it on Arjuna's chariot? Again, a very interesting story. Can I move? Yeah. The story goes like this. Pandavas were in exile and one evening they were resting. A nice cool wind was blowing and to Draupadi's surprise, a very nice fragrant flower came wafting in the wind and just fell near her foot. So she picked it up immediately, smelt it, was in love with the flower. Then she looked at her husbands. She had the greatest of great husbands. She looks up to Bhima and says, Oh Bhima, can you please get me more of these flowers? Bhima, he is a loving husband. He says, okay, fine, let me try. I'm sure that this is not so easy to get, but I will go in search of them and bring them. So he sets out in search. And he crosses the forest, goes up the mountains. So he has to really find where the Saugandhika Pushpa trees are available. And while he's walking across the path, he finds a monkey, an old monkey sleeping. And the monkey has a tail which is blocking the path, which Bhishma had to cross. Now, in those days, youngsters had great respect for elders. The monkey was old, and there was no way that Bhishma would just cross over the monkey's tail. It would have been the easiest thing to do if there were an youngster in Kali Yuga of today. But Bhima was of the old. He says, I can't do that. I can't cross the tail of a sleeping monkey who's so aged. So he says, Oh dear monkey, can you please give me way? Can you move your tail? The monkey says, Oh dear, I'm old. I'm tired. And if you really want to cross the path, take my tail and put it aside and go your way. So Bhima says, Okay, this is a nuisance, but let me do it because I have no choice. So then he tries, he thought, I'll just remove the tail and keep it aside and move across. But then he makes one attempt, two attempts, three attempts, n number of attempts. He is not able to move the tail at all. Then he says, Oh dear monkey, I know who you are. You must be none other than Hanuman. And they were both brothers because both are Vayuputra. And they hug each other, and Hanuman is happy to have met him. Then Bhima says, "Oh dear Hanuman, you must help me during the war time." Then Hanuman says, "Yes, I will help you. I will be present in the Kapidwaja, and whenever you roar, I will add my tone to that. And that tone will be so frightening. That's the reason why the Kaurava army felt shattered listening to the roar of the instruments and the conches being blown by the Pandavas." So this is the story attached to Kapidwaja. And one of the most important signs, of course, as we go along, you will see many more signs of victory. But these three, presence of Krishna, wherever Krishna is, goddess Lakshmi is with him, and then Arjuna present himself on Arjuna's flag to support the cause of victory of the Pandavas. So this is the end of the 8 verses that we had planned to take today. Now, I will spend a couple of minutes on giving an important learning. Okay, before that, a quick look at various names of Krishna. It's very interesting to see by how many names has Krishna been called in the verses 1 to 20 in chapter 1. First is Govinda. Why Govinda? Because he gives pleasure to the cows and to the senses. Then he's called Vasudeva because he appeared as the son of Vasudeva. Devakinanda, because he accepted Devaki as his mother. Look at the small child sitting there. Yashodananda, he awarded the childhood pastimes to his mother, Yashoda, at Vrindavan. Then Parthasarathi, because because he worked as charioteer of his friend Arjuna. So Rishikesha and Parthasarathi, these are the two names for Krishna. Then Madhusudana. Why is he known as Madhusudana? Because he killed the demon of the name Madhu. So I thought it would be a nice way of paying our respects to Krishna by going through all the various names by which he is called so far in the first 20 verses. So with this, I come to what I said. Now, this is a personal learning, and I'm sure all of us can take away this as a key lesson. What do I title this slide as? Don't try to read, it's in Marathi. Don't bother, just listen. If you desire to serve, Lord blesses you. I have been mentioning the fascinating aspect of Gita study. It's not about reading the verse, it's not about reading the translation. It is trying to understand the stories which bring about great wisdom lying in those verses. And the challenge is, as a Gita student, it is very difficult to find any book that is published till date which gives you all the stories in one place. It's impossible. In fact, I don't know if Shamchandra Prabhu remembers, I had a conversation with him long back when I said, "Dear Prabhu, how do you think I can go about finding out all the stories that are linked to a verse in Gita?" You listen to any famous speaker, any famous acharya, they bring Gita alive because of the wonderful stories. Now, but Shamchandra Prabhu also said, "I can only tell you one thing, Prabhu, you have to read. Read widely, listen to various commentaries, and then you may have to make a collection of stories which are appropriate for each line in the verse." So I realize it's not an easy job. It takes painstaking homework and effort. So I said, fine. If I have to do it, let me do it. Then why do I title the side as "If you desire to serve, Lord blesses you"? The answer walked its way through the window, through the door of my home. I'm not talking literally, but that's what happened. I met Shikshastakam Prabhuji. He is in ISKCON Nasik temple. He is a wonderful Prabhuji, great knowledge. And he conducts Gita lessons, which are titled Gita Mode. And we also have our group name as Gita Mode. And this is so popular that if you visit Nasik on a Wednesday evening, you will be shocked. There will not be a square inch of space available in the temple. People are hanging by the trees, hanging by the windows, doors, just trying to listen to what Prabhuji is speaking. So he speaks so well. And he gives you a plethora of stories. You want more, dil mange more, you will get more. That is the kind of depth that Prabhuji covers the verses. And I came to know of this, I understood this, and then things two and two fell in place. Instead of 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, it became 2 plus 2 is equal to 22. And this book, Gitamrut, got published in Marathi. What is the attraction of this book? This book is only chapter 1 and it has more than 250 pages. And if you read, you will get lost in the treasure house of wisdom that Prabhuji has given us. It has all the language stories that you want and more against each verse described very beautifully. Now, what is the service here? First is, I desire, the Lord fulfill. Then I said, can I offer anything more than just reading it and enjoying it? I can't enjoy Marathi because my Marathi is not that good. Then the service also walked into the door. They said, why don't you help us translate this Marathi into Hindi, into English? And now I am doing that work. I request all your blessings, all your prayers that we find a good sponsor and we get this book published. And the day it is published, I will share it with all of you. You will find stories and stories and stories galore against each verse of chapter 1. And of course, the dream is we have to publish up to chapter 18. That's what I wanted to highlight to all of you today. Now, we have the last few interesting minutes with, I'm sure all of you would have listened to carefully, and you may have seen in many slides, I used to say, this is a very important verse. Please go through carefully. Now, the quiz questions are all from the verses that we have gone through, and I start with the first one. Prabhuji, shall I go?
Yeah, just set a guideline. Whoever wants to answer has to raise the hand so that there's no
Anyone?
chaos, So they have to be like fastest finger first. I'm keeping a watch on who is raising the hand first.
Right. And I can't see anything, Prabhuji, so I am depending completely on you.
Yeah, don't worry. I've got also 2 monitors. I'm also seeing on both the sides.
Right. So the guideline is anyone who wants to answer, please raise your hands and then Prabhuji will select fastest fingers first and we'll give you the scope to answer. So here goes the first question. Name the conch shell of Krishna. The easiest of the questions to start with.
I think it was Varsha who raised first. Varsha.
Word Vashamataji.
Panchajanya.
Hare Krishna. Fantastic. Full marks to you. The brownie points opened by Varsha Mataji. We have 4 questions, so the floor is wide open. Let's
The
go to the
hands
next question.
which are raised earlier, 1 second. The hands which are raised earlier can be lowered now. Then there'll be fresh next question. Then you can raise the hand again. I think Ramesh's hand is up.
Yes.
So maybe the hand can be lowered. Yeah. Okay. Now we can go for the second question.
Right. Now the second question. Again, as easy as it can be. Name the conch shell of Arjuna and Bhima. Please raise your
Okay. Anjali
fingers.
has raised first.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It is Devadatta and Poundrang. Poundrang.
Fantastic.
So 50
Full
brownie
marks to you.
points. 50 brownie points to Anjali and 50 brownie points to Varsha.
Excellent.
And we
Well
have
done,
to
both
add
of you, Anjali Mataji
last session.
and
I think
Varsha
Anjali
Mataji.
was already having 150 points last session. So we'll add it up to that also. And
Perfect.
Varsha probably had 50 last time, correct? Okay, so 50 plus 50, 100. Good going. Next.
Next. Now, yes, the right answers, Devadatta and Pandava. Let's go to question 3. Which Pandava amongst 5 brothers is known as Gudakesha?
Okay, Srinidhi.
Arjuna Prabhu.
Wonderful.
Tough question, but
50.
you have got it right now. Excellent.
50.
What is the meaning of Gudakesha? This is
Again,
a slightly tougher one.
Again, Srinidhi has raised her hand first. In fact, the only hand I can see.
Conqueror of sleep, Prabhuji, or ignorance.
Perfect, Mother.
Perfect.
Full 50 marks to you.
50 plus 50,
Well
100
done.
हो गया. क्या बात है? Very good.
Excellent. That's the right answer. One who conquers sleep. With that, we close the quiz. Now, let me see what is the time. The 7:58. See, one is you listen to a nice discourse. Now, I have an animated version of chapter 1. If the video plays, we will go through with it for 2 minutes because I'll stop exactly at the 20th verse.
Else, you
Let's
can do one
see.
more thing, Prabhu. You can send the link also in the group so that people can enjoy the
Ah,
video also whenever they are free. That's not a problem. It's about 10 minutes
I'll
video, I
do that.
think. 10 or 15 minutes.
No, but it will not play for 10 minutes, Prabhuji.
No, it's basically a video of 10 minutes, I'm saying, so that you can send the link also so whoever wants to see can see it.
Certainly, certainly. You can hear the sound, Prabhuji?
No, Prabhu. No volume, no sound, no audio.
No sound, is it? Then that
Setting,
is the whole problem. I don't know why it is not taking the swap interview. Can you see that, Prabhuji?
no, you have to first unshare, and then time of
Ah,
sharing, you have to select the audio also. Then it will play.
1 second. Then shall I stop sharing?
Yeah, and then again you reshare, and there you have
Ah,
to select. Okay, now you reshare, and
okay.
at the time of resharing, you
Yeah,
will get some buttons on audio also. So you enable
okay.
that.
Yeah.
Are you seeing some buttons?
Now I am just getting into sharing. I will put it on screen show.
No, have you enabled that sound button, Prabhu?
Now I should get that buttons.
Okay,
Okay. Now, I got it, Prabhuji.
okay.
Share computer sound. Stereo. Yes. Now you can hear?
Chapter 1. Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra.
O Sanjay, what is happening with my sons and the sons of Pandu since they assembled at Kurukshetra for battle? Maharaj, after looking over the Pandavas' military formation, your son approached Dronacharya and began to speak. Acharya, behold the vast Pandava army, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad. In this army are many heroic bowmen equal to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yuyudhan, Virat and Drupad. There are also powerful fighters like Drishtaketu, Chekitan, Kashiraj, Purujit, Kuntibhoj, and Shaibya. Look, there is Yudhamanyu, the powerful Uttamaja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are powerful chariot fighters. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the warriors who are especially qualified to lead my armies. They are personalities like your good self, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and Bhurishrava. They are always victorious in battle. And there are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with many weapons, and all are experienced in military science. Our strength is immeasurable. We are perfectly protected by Grandfather Bhishma, but the strength of the Pandavas is limited. Everyone must now give full support to Bhishma while standing at our strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Sanjaya speaks. Then Bhishma blew his conch shell very loudly, like a roaring lion, which gave Duryodhana joy. Bhishma was thinking, victory or defeat is in the Lord's hands, but I'll do my duty as a Kshatriya and give my life. And now that I've blown my conch shell, Krishna will respond by blowing his conch shell, which I long to hear. After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous.
Sound went away, Prabhu.
That sound is not
Both
captured.
Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Krishna blew his conch shell, called Kanchenjanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devadatta, and Bhima blew his terrific conch shell, called Poundra. King Yudhisthira blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijay. Nakul and Sahadev blew the Sukosha and Mani Pushpaka. That great archer, the king of Kasi, the great fighter Sikandi, Drishtadyumna, Virat, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupad, the sons of Draupadi, and the others all blew their respective conch shells. The blowing of these conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of your sons.
That's it. So we move to, this is the end of the session. The balance part of the video we'll watch at the end of next class. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Now the floor is open for questions from your side. Now this is your time.
Varsha has raised her hand. Yes, Varsha.
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for this wonderful class. Prabhuji, my doubt was that we have heard that there are 5 Pandavas, but I was not able to understand why you mentioned 18 Pandavas in the class.
Okay. So, see, if you go through verse 15, 16, 17, 18, you first saw Krishna, Arjuna, Bhima. Then you saw the Yudhisthira, Nakula, Sahadeva. Then I mentioned Kashi Raja, Shikandi, Drishtadyumna, 5 sons of Draupadi, Abhimanyu. So if you total all of them, it comes to 18. So 18 Pandava soldiers, warriors, blew their conscience.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Got it?
I thought that because Pandavas were those were sons of Pandavas, 5. So you mentioned about the warriors, right? Total warriors
Yes.
from the
Yeah,
Pandavas.
5 brothers of Pandavas and along with all important Pandavas.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So is there any
Any-
newcomer in today's session who was not there in the previous sessions? Because I can see some new names, Shankar Raja, and there was also one person who had not put his name, but it was Samsung. The mobile phone's name was there, but I couldn't identify who is he. But Shankar Raja can be maybe he's first timer here. And also, I think Srinidhi is probably newcomer to this session. And there was another 1 or
I
2
see
people.
Ramesh.
They have left.
Ramesh has raised his hands. He's also a newcomer.
Yeah, first time.
Yes, sir. Ramesh.
So Ramesh,
Yes,
we know.
Ramesh, go ahead.
No, he has raised his hand to show that he's first timer.
Correct.
Acha,
You're
okay.
right, sir.
We know Ramesh, of course,
He's a very close friend of mine, Prabhuji.
he's a good husband of Sarvami Mataji. I think
Who
it's
is
the same.
that? No. He's my friend is in Bangalore.
Okay, I thought Sarvami Mataji's husband also is Ramesh.
No. We call him my Chandi Dost, very old friend.
Okay. So maybe we can add these new names in our group, We don't want to miss
Yes,
them on a regular basis because by chance they attended through some contacts. Better to include them in our group itself.
Ramesh, with your permission, I will do that.
Please go ahead, Shama.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you, Ramesh.
Okay. So no more
Looks like
questions.
the class was quite simple. Not many questions.
It was superb.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Very
You are our
nicely.
Bhishma Pitamaha.
No. You are Arjuna, the hero. It was so nicely presented, and especially the movie was like a ultimate, what you showed in the end.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Nice. Very nicely covered.
And for a change, we are on time. We are not really overshot the time.
We have taken a pledge, by the way, for the benefit of participants. We have taken a pledge. We will not cross 885 max. Okay. Anjali has raised her hand. Let's take her question and then we can close.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna
Anjali.
Prabhuji.
Hare
I
Krishna.
don't have a question. I just wanted to tell each and every minute was like occupying our mind, and we couldn't take off eyes from your presentation. It was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
ये तो
All
अभी
glory to Krishna.
ये तो अभी ट्रेलर है, पिक्चर बाकी है. ठीक है.
Thank you very much for your words of encouragement. Thank you.
All right. So shall we close the session then if there are no further questions or comments?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So then we'll meet next Saturday.
Next time.
And
Yes.
we begin from verse number 20, 21. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So have a nice weekend, all of you. Thank you very much for participating and encouraging us also to speak something. Because unless the participants are there as active as you all, we cannot be motivated to speak also. And the brownie points is going to be a real motivation. As we announced last time, the winner will be announced at the end of every chapter. So we are keeping a tab. I'll update it in today after today's session is over. What is the latest count on brownie points? And the winner, maybe we'll pick one or two. Then since number one, number two, we don't want to disappoint number two. And some very good gift will be awaited for that person. Okay. So please keep yourself charged and motivated until next time. Please go through it. Okay. Thanks all of
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, before you end, I wish to say it was a marvelous presentation, Sri Rao, and hope to be again present for all your next presentations. Wonderful, absolutely great.
Thank you so much,
Thank you, Madam.
Vijaya Madam. For those who don't know her, Vijaya Madam is actually logged in from Belgium.
Oh, it doesn't
My
matter
goodness.
from wherever I am, we are all the same.
That only goes to show your interest. We are in India, we have spread this news across 60 people and we find 20 or 25 attending. And you're one person in Belgium we contacted and you have attended all our sessions.
I met a girl. I was so, actually at the moment I am in Canada, to tell you the truth. And I was with my son. So I was in Montreal and I met this little girl, young girl. And I was very, very disappointed and very disheartened. What you say is very true. This girl comes from Haryana. And I asked her, so, okay, where did you study? And also she said, I studied in Kurukshetra. So my question to her was, oh, you are from Kurukshetra. Can you tell me what is the speciality of Kurukshetra? And she said, I'm very busy. I'll come to you back and I'll tell you again. This was in a restaurant. So then again, I hounded her. My daughter was a little hurt because she said you should not have asked her again and again. But I wished to know. She had no idea. So I told her, look, you didn't answer me. Kurukshetra is the Kshetra where Sri Krishna gave the message of the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and where the Mahabharata Yuddha was fought. So as you say, this is really Chirag Tale Andhera. And I wish more and more of our Hindus, especially in Bharatvarsham, come to know what a great land we have been born in, such a Punya Bhumi, and we realize this truth. And you are doing a wonderful work, a wonderful job by spreading this message. Let us hope that every person, every Hindu does this to every person he meets.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I really
Yes,
appreciate
Prabhuji. Thank you.
And please do bless us with your presence every session. You really,
Definitely, I shall. Definitely, I'll do.
you're such a wonderful source of inspiration for all of us. Thank you so much.
Don't. You are doing the work, it is marvelous, I tell you. Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Keep doing it.
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
has raised her hand.
Hare
Believe
Krishna,
your
Prabhuji.
sister is sitting next to you. The gynecologist sitting next to you.
No, pediatric Prabhuji. She is my elder sister, Sri Vaishnavi.
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, we just want to share some points which we learned in the session, Prabhuji.
Can you put it in the group? It will be nice. So that even those people who have not attended, they can also see what you have.
They will also benefit.
Yeah, they will also. That will be very nice. You can make a nice, summary, or in your own way, you can present it in the group.
Okay, Prabhuji.
They are saying they want to share the brownie points.
Huh?
They want to share the brownie points, is perhaps what she's saying.
Yeah. So we are requesting her to share in the group. There's a group we have created, and in that she can share. All of us can take the benefit of it. Because there are a lot of people who could not participate today. They will also get the benefit of it.
Haribol.
Thank you. So we'll end the session now. Thanks once again to Sri Samsundar Rauji for his wonderful efforts and presentation. He's also a busy man to really spend time, and in fact he was in Puri. Then before that he was traveling elsewhere. Next week he's traveling to the US. Very busy man. So really hats off for his wonderful efforts. Thank you. So we'll close for the day, for the night.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Good night to all of you. Have a nice weekend.
Have a great evening.